Everyone. Oh, okay. There we go. That was weird. Cutting that intro short because it looks like the stream went up and down for some reason. So I was just checking levels and other stuff. And just to make sure that when I click to go live again, it works. So that is what happened there. But hopefully you're doing well. Welcome to another Friday, which means another Zeal stream. And we are going to be having some more fun with Elixir, with our Notion API package. So that's what we're going to be doing. If you hear any kind of noise in the background, I do have the AC running in this room because there is a bit of a it's a little hot outside, just a little bit. So trying to keep this room nice and cool as we have computers running for streaming and programming and all that type of hot stuff. All right, so just give me a minute as I go about getting the project up and running and good to go. And we're there. Cool. All right, so last time on stream had completed the work on, I believe, the pages section of the API all the way down to doing update for pages. So that was a nice success on that. What's up, Alka? How you doing? Oh, I don't care about going to my integrations. I care about going to my API reference guide. So we have done databases and pages, so we're kind of halfway there in terms of implementing the stuff. It is just a little bit of a moving target because the API is in beta, so there will be additions and subtractions to the API, most of the time additions. So I think they added some more additions to the block stuff. So, but I'm doing pretty good, Alka. I'm doing pretty good. It is Friday, so I'm looking forward to that. And getting some new furniture, outside furniture for the backyard, or getting furniture period for the backyard. So that's a little exciting. So I'm looking forward to the weekend. How about you, Alka? How you doing? So yeah, so I figured for this hour block, we'll focus, since we've reached a halfway point. Let's try focusing on trying to actually deploy this package, an early version of this package, to Hex. So I would even call this package version 1.0. It is like version 00.1. This is like super early, super preliminary stuff. So I figured let's go through the motions of trying to get this on Hex so it can be hosted and used by others. Trying to find out what I really want to do today. Sometimes that's the challenge, right? There's either two things. Either you don't know what to do in general, or there's too many things to do and you don't know which thing to do first or which thing to just focus on. I hear that. Ooh, we got a VS Code update. So let's go ahead and do a VS Code update. And while we look at VS Code, let's take a look at how we're going to deploy this application. So I believe we should have, it's either on the Hex site itself. So Hex is the equivalent of npmjs.org for JavaScript packages. Hex is the Elixir / Erlang one. So publishing packages. Here is the publishing guide. So I believe on this computer, I already have a Hex user registered. So I've already created an account, registered that account, and have all the credentials, have all the credentials set on the computer. So I believe that's fine. So we'll go through the guide and see how far we get. Oh, there goes Stream Alone's posting it again. So before publishing, you will have, well, actually, hold on. Let's do mixed tests on this just to make our test pass. We do have some warnings. So before we even try to publish, let's try to clean up our warnings. So it says that found quoted keyword content, but the quotes are not required. Note that the keyword is always atoms, are always atoms when quoted, even when quoted. So, and it's just not going to like all of this. I wonder if, okay, well, we'll just fix it. So let's go through. So that was on line 48. Don't want to unquote the values, just unquote the keys. All right, now we're down to line 40, which is up here. Good stuff. And let's get some background tunes going. Well, what have you been up to, Alka? What has been your project? Anything cool that you've been working on that you would love to share? Okay. Just going through my Stream Deck. All right, we fixed this. Let's go ahead and commit. Git commit. Fix warnings. And set package version. Oh, we're gonna actually have to we're gonna have to push this to GitHub first too, because I've been working on this all in my lonesome. So we're gonna want to create a publish this to GitHub, and we're actually gonna publish this not to my personal GitHub, but we're gonna publish this over to the Coding Zeal GitHub. So this is thin Notion API. Then Notion API package API package API package for Elixir that does just enough. Allows you to interface to use a lot that gives you a simple way to communicate with the Notion API. We'll make that public. Let's go ahead and add a README. And let's see, do we already have a git ignore? We do already have a git ignore. We already have a README in here. I have a project at overseer.alco.tv, but there's an updated version of overseer 4, which is all view, better server code too, any event, a dashboard, any event dashboard for Twitch. Ooh. So let's take a look at the first version. Log in with Twitch. Let me pull this off screen just to. Oh wait, okay. I don't want to put in all my credentials. I opened that up in incognito window, so. I love the animation in the background, by the way. So it's an event dashboard for. So I assume it's just live events, right? As they're coming in. Cool. So all the sections there. And then let's see if there's anything obvious when we switch over to the Overseer 4. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, okay. So same thing, but you've written it, rewritten the whole thing. Oh. Update version keeps history, but won't get the history when you log in. Gotcha. Cool. Very cool. Have you done much Vue, or is this your first time delving into using Vue? I wonder, does the GitHub CLI let us create fork? I'm just curious to see if this GitHub CLI will let us set a remote on here, but it looks like no. Let's see, what's the steps for doing a git remote? I do this so little that I always forget how to set the git remote. Git remote add. Git remote add origin. Git remote dash v. Cool. All right, let's see if we can pull down. I apparently don't have credentials. I might just swap this over to HTTPS instead. I've been using Vue for a little while because of Coding Garden. Ah. Let's see. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Love the animations and stuff like that. I like Vue. I actually like Vue. Um that's really cool. I think Vue is a nice framework. So let's do a git remote remove origin, and let's try doing instead of SSH, let's do HTTPS real quick. Get pull dash dash rebase origin main. Okay. So when we originally created this project, it created it as a as the master branch, but now um, the new consensus is to not use master, but to use main. So what I'm going to do here is all my work is on main, or is on master. But when we created our repo, it automatically created our main line, created our main branch. So what I'm just going to do here is I'm going to check out to main, and I'm going to rebase the changes from master rebase main onto master. So we have that history there. So that's what we're going to do now. Get rebase master. So now if we check our git log, we have all of this stuff, and the very first commit is going to be that initial commit with the what do you call it, licensing file. So now, and let me just finish this thought, and then I'll read chat again. And then what I have to do here is, since I don't have a commit, I'm rewriting the commit history. I'm going to do a git push origin main dash dash force, and I like to do force with least instead of force. So now on our remote, we have main here and all this good stuff. Cool. I also made a single list view with an event filter. That's been my biggest project lately. I need to figure out how I want to do settings. For some customization, there's tons of things I could customize. I'd imagine it looks that way. There's with the different feeds and stuff like that, each one has their own independent settings, filtering, highlighting of certain things to be more prominent than others, because that dashboard can get fairly noisy. Yeah. Let me delete the master branch now, because now we're on main, and we're good. Now we've pushed our code. Now we have an actual repository for this project right there. We've taken what was originally being committed to master, and we switched it over to main and pushed up those changes. So first start of the battle of getting this released. Feel like such a git when I started updating a separate branch, and now I need to cherry pick over to the main branch, but I just freeze, don't really know what to do. Do you really need to cherry pick over the changes to the other branch? Like, do you only want those very specific commits, like very specific commits out of your branch? Or I guess is the question. It's like, why are you cherry picking? And also, cherry picking is scary. All right. The next thing we should do is actually update our README. The Notion API is an Elixir package to easily communicate with the Notion API. The main objective is to provide a simple and straight forward way for you, for a person to fetch or receive or fetch or update information without the locked without a lot of overlay without a large or complex interface. And then let's do this where we say this package is still under heavy development, and things can change at any time. I need to avoid one main commit. The main branch is a JS class syntax, and the other is the old school JS function class syntax. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So you had to make it, so you need to bring a change in from main. Yeah. What I like to do for the cherry picks, side to main. Hmm. And you just can't carry everything over, huh? Yeah, then if you can't carry everything over, then yeah, cherry pick is the way to go. If you can't carry everything over, um, you could try to do a rebase instead. But if it's just one or two commits that you need from the side branch, then cherry pick. And then I like to use visual tools for the cherry picks, not without having to redo the conversion, which is fine, but I want to look like I know what I'm doing. uh so need to start adding tests. So we added this checklist before, and we got this one done. Doesn't GitHub flavored markdown do checkboxes? It should. So why is it not working? That's not the syntax. I think it's the syntax. There's another markdown preview that will give you the checkboxes. Ah, okay. Well, I will just do this for now. Are you making Notion whatever that is API wrapper? Yeah, I am. So we've been working on this for a number of weeks now, about an hour a day on stream. And right now today's objective is to just release what we have for now, just so it's on Hex for Elixir, the packaging hosting service, just to get that out of the way. So list database query param support, the query database with options. How you doing? Named after you. So we already added page object actions. So I think we covered all these. This needs to be changed. And let's go ahead and commit this change. The generic update readme. Yep, there we go. All right. So I need to check for mix tests. Let's run mixed credo. So now at this point, we're kind of like doing some custodial stuff, make sure things are good. So there is a credo configuration file that someone shared to me that I'm curious about trying out. And credo is so Elixir already comes built in with a basic linter of sorts to if you're not configuring things properly. Credo is like adding an ESLint on top of JavaScript. So let's see if I'm already using this configuration or not, because I forgot if looks like we're already using it. Nice. 167 lines, 167 lines. Yeah, we're already using it. Great. And I'll throw this into chat if you're curious about it. Okay, so we ran Credo and we have a couple violations in here. Some checks are skipped because they're not compatible with Elixir 114 or 111.4. Deactivate these checks by adding checks to list in the config file. And then let's take a look at these ones. So use function call when pipeline is only one function long. So I've seen these ones before. I've seen these best practices. So it's like if this is only a single pipe, then they're just basically suggesting doing this basically. And it's going to be the same thing for a lot of our tests. Let me see. Modules should have a doc tag on them. Yeah, so this should have a module doc header on it. Let's just copy the one we used for the database over. Is Credo a sort of text debug? No, it is a linter. So you just specify a bunch of rules and Credo will analyze your code and find rule violations, just like with ESLint and the like. So in my case, it's finding that I didn't define a module doc header, and there are built-in rules for Credo but this configuration file right here has specific rules declared on it to follow. So ABC size, complexity, all sorts of different things to make sure that you're writing consistent, clean code. So module for acting with the Notion databases. So we don't want to document this module here. I forget how we tell it to not document. Yeah, there we go. It's like, no, we don't. It's like, no, don't document this module. This module is just for testing. We don't want this to appear anywhere. I think I want to do the same thing with this one. Let's just not document the parser. We'll only allow documenting the pages, the database pages. Do I even want it to? Yeah, I already said no to the properties. Okay. And then this is annoyed because this is not alphabetically ordered. This can actually be collapsed down to, because since we're doing 3 different imports for one thing, we can just combine these things together. So do like that, and then wrap this in curly braces. Oh, interesting. Okay, so maybe so even though I can do that, then the linting rules are like, nah, don't do that. And I'm okay with that. Consistency, no white space around the parentheses. The cool thing about Credo is that Credo will give you more information about any of these violations if you tell it to explain. That's one thing that's really cool about Credo. So you're not forced to jump over to like some online documentations or whatever. I forget if Credo can auto fix stuff too. So if I'm kind of curious if I do explain. Oh, it wants me to do specific explains. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So no white spaces around parentheses, brackets most of the time, but they're there. So I think it's complaining about no white spaces around parentheses and brackets most of the time. Is it complaining about this right here? That's what I was complaining about. So let's get rid of these white spaces then. And it's more of an argument of consistency that this is making. Because over here I didn't have a space, but over here I did have a space. Let's test out the explain for this. So credo mix credo explain that. Now, yeah, so here we go. So this is the beautiful thing about credo. It's like here's the code in question. And then it gives an explanation of why it doesn't want you to do the piping. Like, this is fine, but this isn't. So just do this. I kind of like the single piping. But we'll just stick with this consistency. We'll experiment. We'll experiment and see what ends up feeling better at the end of the day. What ends up feeling better, looking better. So this is gonna be the exact same result. So we grab this, get rid of that, paste that in there. We got 2 more locations. This guy right here. That. And that one's fine. It's going to be this one right here. Ooh, prefer enum empty. There we go. Credo's doing work. Now we did a little refactoring, so let's run our tests. Good. Oh, forgot to commit all that stuff. All right, so module doc header, removing one, and then adding module, or ignoring module doc header, and then alphabetizing the aliases, and then doing the lint rolls that Credo wanted us to do. All right, so we're done with that. Let's go ahead and push that code. Cool beans. Alrighty, now let's get back to following the publishing guide. Have a nice day. Then I just learned what a linter is. Nice. Well, if you got any more questions, if you want to stop by, feel free to ask any questions. I don't mind. But I hope you have a wonderful day. And don't be a stranger, okay? If you got questions, hopefully I got answers. All right, now on to naming your package. Before publishing, you will have to choose the name of your package. Remember that the package, named after you. If you're providing functionality on top of an existing package, consider using the package name as a prefix, okay? Avoid namespaces conflict with existing packages. Yep, that's what we're doing. Adding metadata to mix EXS. So we have the mix EXS open right now. Make sure your version property is correct. So let's put this on the side right here. Good. Major. Fill in the description. So we got a couple things to fill in here. We need a description. The name of the package. The license. And links. We'll leave links alone. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to put in there yet. We don't need a specific routing for the we're just going to rely on the default files. To improve the documentation generally by xdoc, the following fields can also be supplied as part of the project. So source URL. Our source URL is this. I also need to switch these single quotes to be double quotes. A dependency defined with no CSS get or path will automatically be treated as hex dependency. Usage guide. So documentation automatically published to hex.docs PM. When you publish your package, if you only want to publish the package itself, you can run hex publish package. Similarly, if you want to republish the documentation of existing package, you can run hex publish docs. Before publishing documentation, Hex will build the documentation by running mix docs task to make sure it's up to date. The main documentation tool for Elixir is xdoc. Provides this task so if you add it as a dependency, you don't have to do anything else to get automatic documentation builds when you publish your package. Check out the X. So that's one thing we need to add in. We need to add in xdoc. To get information to configure your docs, we recommend building your docs locally, mix docs before publishing to Hex. Finally, also take a look at Elixir guide for writing documentation, suggestions, and best practices. So let's take a look at xdoc to make sure we add it in properly. So let's see. So let's make sure, even though it says that it's my extension is getting it, let's make sure that we're at double checking that we're getting it after. So so dependency xdoc will automatically pull your information from your projects, like the application version. However, you may want to set the name, source URL, homepage URL if you have a nicer output for that for xdocs. No, we don't. Thin API wrapper for Notion for the Notion API. All right. So we haven't added in. Looks like we followed all the proper stuff. So if I do mix docs, that should generate documentation for me based off what we already have. Let's take a look at here. So documentation references string to atom, but it is undefined or private. Interesting. So somewhere in here, it says it references atom. Oh, this right here. No, 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 no. Like that, I think is the correct way. Okay. So we have an EPUB book, and then we have our HTML documentation. There's to host a web page. It's like was it npx server, and that will boot up a mini node server, I think, real quick. Or is it serve? Yeah, there we go. Localhost 5,000. There we go. So this is a nice little trick. So if you have the latest npm installed on your computer, and you have like an index HTML file that to view, and you want it to load up as a web page, and you can't just like open it up directly. You can do npx serve and then the directory that has that index.html file in it, and it'll boot up a simple little server for you. Oh, I mixed up these two things. I was like, what the heck is going on here? So this should go into here, and then that stuff should go into here. Let's recompile the docs and refresh. There we go. Nice. So the main module isn't ready yet. And this is why we're generating it, so we can actually take a look at what things are gonna look at. So we have our functions here for database: create, list, query, retrieve. Look at that beautiful documentation. Look at that beautiful documentation. Create, retrieve, and update page. Beautiful, beautiful documentation. So I think we're good with text, with the. I think what I want to do is also include the README. Let's see if we can also include the README, since the README has install instructions on it. That is definitely worth it. Let's try generating the docs again. Oops. And let's make the README the main page. Let's see. So the main page in the docs. So if I say README, will that work? It's either README or it's going to be Thin Notion API. Syntax error, forgot the comma. Warning, enter the reader README HTML, which does not exist. Okay, that's fine. So let's see. So if we go to doc, so read me. Based off how this is generating out. There we go. And then here's the API reference. Cool. So like when they first enter the documentation, they get the README page with all the information still. And then they can start diving into the API reference stuff. Great. Great. I love that. So we're almost there. So we're done with that. If you want to use another documentation tool, that's fine. We don't. So an example mix EXS, we have our app, we have our version, we specified our Elixir version, and our description, our package. So they did this down here. We have our source URL set up. We have our name set up. I think we're good for now. And then we can try to publish. So let's do that. So I believe the CLI should already be set up for publishing, I believe. So let me, actually, before that, we need to commit. So I got rid of that, updated that, added the xdoc, and then updated the mix lock. Cool. Update, and generate documentation for the package. Let's go and push that up. Now, the moment of truth, hex.publish. Stopping package build due to errors. Missing metadata fields licenses. I guess licenses has to be an array. And links. Now, I'm kind of curious on whether I can put it top level or it has to be nested under packages. Let's see, we are missing a comma there. Add missing metadata for deploy. Hex publish. Okay, so it must be within the scope of package then. So we need to follow this syntax here. And then so let's just go all the way through and follow exactly how they're declaring stuff in here. So we do that. So description is a function call. So name, license, and links all need to go into into this. Put this above like that. Set package metadata under package key for mix. Okay, let's try this again. So here we go. It is taking these files under lib, the formatter, mix access, the readme, and the license. It is version 0.0.1. It is called the Thin Notion API. With my dependencies of HTTP, JSON, and mix test interactive. That is only dev and test. I'm wondering if that's the correct import for this. Runtime false. Yep. This is why we audit when we're about to deploy. So, no. Oh, it's good that we ran our test too, because we have a failure. We're in the home stretch here. Remove dead test and update mix test interactive dep. Git push. Now hex publish, if I can press the buttons right. Hex publish, HTTP poison in JSON. Yes, those are good. Those are the dependencies we want to see. Thin Notion API. Here are the files that are being included under lib, in the README, the license, under MIT. This is the GitHub link to Thin Notion API under coding Zeal. 1.11 and above. And away we go. Local password. Oops. Oops. There we go. Name has invalid format. Is it because there's a space in it? Is that why? Only needed when you don't want to use the OpenTP application name. That's fine. We'll just get rid of that then. Use default OTP. Let's see. Let's make sure that if we run mix docs, that works. Yeah, mix docs passes, and hex publish again. Name is Thin Notion API, so we'll stick with that. Yes. Local password. and away it goes. So now if we go to Hex, and we were to look for thin notion, ooh, this guy's is at it. But we have ours. We have our documentation. It's surprising how active this one is. Look at that. So our documentation isn't fully fledged. Oh, this is just around telemetry. That's why, not the Notion API. This is for something completely different, the telemetry wrapper. But hey, we met the objective for today. We've gone from not having our project hosted on GitHub. Check. Swap that over from using master branch to main branch. Check. Went through, updated warnings, ran through Credo to update any rule violations we were going through. Check on that. Generated documentation for our API, or for our package through HexDocs. Big check on that one. And then updated the configuration so we can publish it to Hex itself. So now it is live on Hex. There's still a lot more work to do because even with this documentation here, it doesn't describe how to pass in the credentials. So that needs to be updated too, but we have it there. It is there to use, but it's still in rapid development, but it's on there. That's cool. And the cool thing is that you can, with Hex, the hosting service, is you can send documentation updates separate to version updates. So if you need to update the documentation for a version, you can just send the new documentation. You don't have to deploy a brand new version of your package in order to update the documentation that's hosted on the system. So that's really cool. Yeah. We did it. We did it, chat. We did it. All right. So that's going to be it for me today. I hope you have a good one. And yes, Alka, GG's in the chat. We did it. So we'll be next Friday. We'll be continue on our adventure with this guy. We're going to be focusing on the blocks next. Implementing that API interface, and you know, things are moving along. So maybe in the next couple streams, we're doing these things basically 1 hour at a time, every stream. So we're chugging along, we're getting things done. So I will catch you next time. Hopefully you enjoyed the video if you're watching this live or on YouTube. And yeah, so stay happy, stay healthy, and go eat something yummy. Bye.